Good evening, class. How is everyone doing today? Today is September the 30th, 2020, and we have a brief class that we will have today where our lesson is focusing primarily on preparing for the midterm. Before we get started, could you all in the chat box let me know how you all are feeling this week? I know this is fall is officially upon us. The weather is a little more pleasant. It was a little warm today, but it's good to have cooler mornings and cooler nights. So let me know how your fall has been so far. Let's see if I can find it. I can find it for some reason. I asked you to do all these things, but I can't find my chat feature for some reason. Hold on. Can't believe I can't find it. If y'all can see my screen share, this is my sister in the center, and that's my mother to the right. Random thoughts, Professor Matt Houston. All right. Well, I can't see my screen, my chat feature box. But tell me, how's everyone doing so far today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I've been better. This is interesting times. I was dreading this election season, and yesterday definitely proved that this is going to be a very tough 45 days or so that I'm going to experience. So, but other than that, I'm doing all right. I have my health. I was able to disconnect last weekend, and so I'm appreciative of that. How about you all? How was your weekend? Was that Holly or who asked that?
That was me. Yeah, it was Holly.
How are you all's weekend?
Tired. It went by very fast.
Too slow. I mean, too fast. Okay.
Too fast.
What else? Or who else?
Mine was pretty good. I was looking at the Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Professor Houston, your face was like all over it, everywhere.
Well, so when I was board chair of that organization, I actually started the social media initiative there. So,
nice.
That helped. And then after I was board chair, we needed a new president, and so for a year, I served as president of the organization. So I was the administrator of all the social media accounts that I initiated in the policy 2 or 3 years before then. So
nice.
that's partially why you see a lot of that. But
nice.
I've been involved with the Black Chamber literally all my life. My dad was involved when my mom was pregnant with me, and so I've been a part of advocacy for Black businesses my entire life.
That's awesome.
All right, I don't know why I can't find my chat box, but we will proceed with class. We have a fairly quick class today. I just want our brief lecture is just going over some information for the midterm. How I will not explicitly, but just describe more about what my expectations are for your midterm submission, and then we'll have Q&A. I'll also provide opportunity for people to answer questions for people who are for their assignments, whether it's the case studies or the assignments from Canvas. And then after that, I will dismiss class and will give you all work time for your groups to brainstorm and discuss the midterm. Sounds good? Give me a thumbs up if that sounds good. All right. Sweet. All right. We've seen this slide before. Thank you. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. Housekeeping. Classroom recordings. I am still trying to figure out how to get these recordings on Canvas. I told you all that I've run out of storage from the administrative side. I haven't been able to expand my storage from IT yet. So what I will do is I've uploaded my courses to my YouTube page, and I will have a hyperlink for each class session. And with that session, I'll have it on an Excel spreadsheet. That'll be in Canvas, so that you all can have access to that YouTube hyperlink for each class lecture. And so that's going to be my new system. That'll also be completed once I finish class today. I've uploaded all of the lectures, minus this one, to my YouTube channel. All I have to do now is put those hyperlinks to the Excel spreadsheet so that I can send that to you all in the files folder. And you'll be able to find that Excel spreadsheet in the same folder in Canvas in the files section under class lectures or class recordings for your reference. Okay? The second thing, your midterm is due before midnight, so by 11:59 p.m. on 10/16/19. And we will talk a little bit about that's our class today, but I want to let you know that you all have 2 weeks, right? Textbook case studies. I want us to talk a little bit about the first 4 case studies I've seen. I want to thank you all for completing them. There have been a couple of discrepancies or issues, but I think I've addressed it with the people who've had those issues. I do want to state that out of in order to get 6 full points, you must complete every question, all 3 or 4 questions, and submit your case study on time in Canvas. There were several case studies, several students who submitted all 4 case studies under one assignment. I provide whichever assignment you submitted that to me in, I gave you full credit, but you must submit that document to all of the other Canvas assignments under your name. So if you submitted all 4 case studies in one document under the case study for week 1 or for chapter 1, you receive full credit for chapters 1. But if you did not resubmit those under chapter 2, 3, or 4, you will probably have a 0. Because what I do is I grade papers on my computer based on Canvas sections. So I grade all of case study chapter 1s and all of case study chapter 2s and so on. And I will not go back if you've done one assignment and if you've done all assignments under one file and did not repeat those files for the other submissions. So please do so ASAP by the end of this class, actually, because I will not take credit or I will accept it as late work. If you submit, let's say, chapter 3 case study after this, I will take it as late work. Are there any questions about that? No? Good deal. The 4th thing I want to discuss is rhythm. Jake Gannon, our speaker last week, I spoke to him again this week. He's still on cloud 9 from the discussion. And you all, small groups. I really appreciate him. I appreciate Dr. Slonim as well the week before. You're going to have a great speaker next week. And Tom Foley. Sorry. And Tom Foley. And so, sorry, I saw someone's child getting to their screen. I'm not going to say whose name that is, but it was great to see them as well. But you will, he is over social entrepreneurship at Paul Quinn College, and we've been doing some work together and we are actually creating a think tank to collaborate with SMU, UNT Dallas, and Paul Quinn to select 5 entrepreneurship students from each class, or entrepreneurship students from each school, and provide a think tank where they work together. And we we'll have resources from across the region to provide that. So we're creating that program now, so you'll hear more information about that in the future. But those are the things that are happening with professors across the region to try to promote social entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. But for rhythm registration, you will be able to, going to submit all of our names so that we can create a profile. We've created the profile in Rhythm. I just need to give him all of your names. He asked for your names and your student IDs, but he also asked for your email address. So before I submit that to him, I want to let you know that I will give them your UNT Dallas emails. So if that's okay. And what that does is it'll allow you to have your own profile. He'll give you a template password. Once you get to his site, you can change your password, customize it. But what I'll do for the first 5 to 10 minutes of class is I'll give everyone time to submit how they feel and go through the exercise individually before we start class. All right? Good deal. The last thing, and this is something else that I will be doing at the end of this class, are the extra credit assignments on Canvas. There are going to be about 8 assignments you'll see by the end of tonight. That'll be on Canvas. That'll give you opportunity to get extra points. I've already created the shell. You've seen the 10 assignments, but they're blank. I will give you all flyers for events so that you can potentially attend, and that you are so that you'll be able to complete one of those 10 extra credit assignments. All right. Our lecture for today. Today we're preparing for our midterm. For the last 4 weeks or so, you've heard me discuss the midterm as being a business plan. You and your group of 4 or 5 individuals that were assigned at the beginning of the semester will submit to me a 3 to 4 page document. I would prefer you all to lean toward 4 pages to describe an initiative or a business or an organization that you all would like to create. Your midterm will be the same format or very similar format to your final in terms of having 4 categories. Your four categories will be your narrative, the financials, your operations, and your competition. And so for your midterm, I want your narrative to be 2 pages. What is your narrative? Does anyone remember what I said your narrative is of your business plan?
Is that the portion where you talk about kind of your passion behind it, the emotional appeal?
Exactly. It's your emotional appeal. It's your passion. It is the most subjective of your business plan. It doesn't mean that you're creating fiction, but what it does mean is it's providing you time and space to tell the story why your group thought of this business. So after meeting, maybe you realize that, or from your interviews, you realize that there's a need to build another business that serves the community this way, a particular way. Well, during your narrative, on your 2 pages, please state your thought process why you want to create this business. The financials. We have not had a business finance lecture yet. In fact, your finance lectures will be, there are 2 lectures, 2 class periods. In November, the 2 weeks, weeks number 2 and weeks number 3 in November. I believe it's the 8th and the 16th. I forgot, I don't have it in front of me, but it is the 2nd and 3rd weeks of November. We will talk about financials and financial statements specifically. So I am not looking for experienced or expert models, financial models for your midterm. But what I am looking for a half page to 1 page, I want you all to describe your financial logic. I want you all to describe how much your raw materials will cost. I also want you to talk about a proposed price for your product. I want you to describe to me how many products you plan on making a year and what your expected gross profit, your cost, and your net profit will be. And I want you to also talk about other types of financial obligations you may have. If it is if you require maybe certifications or something that costs money, please insert that into this narrative. But for your midterm, I just want you and your group to think through all potential costs for your business, put a dollar sign on it, and how much you plan on making each year for the next 3 years for your business. Does anyone have any questions for that? Again, I don't have a specific format because we haven't discussed that yet, but I want you all to make a great attempt, and I want it to take at least a half a page to a page. And I want to clarify, when I say 3 to 4 pages, 3 to 4 pages of narrative, paragraphs. This is excluding charts, graphs, things of that nature. I want to have meat for 3.5 to 4 pages of your midterm. You can definitely go over, especially if you have charts, graphs, things of that nature, pictures for the business. But I want 3 to 4 pages of substance. Under your operations, we haven't discussed that much either. That's going to be a class in late October. I want that to be a half to a whole to 1 page, and that's really describing the roles of each group member, which means you all will decide a title for each person and roles and responsibilities. I want you all to state that in your midterm for each individual in your group. And I would also like you all to discuss potential advisory board members. If you can refer back to a couple of weeks ago, we discussed, I think it was week 2, we discussed under operations, you find your board of directors, your accountant, your attorney, some financial institution or banker, things of that nature. If you know that the path you want to take, and as to how to assemble that team, you can feel free to state that in your operations section. But for the most part, I want you, for your midterm, I want you to state who is in your group, their titles, and their roles and responsibilities, and how to make that organization work. All right? And I'll leave that up to your group to decide that, because that will vary from group to group. The last section is your competition page. And I want this to be 1 to 2 pages. So more than a page, up to 2 pages. It can be a little bit more than that as well. But the reason why this is this length is because we discussed this last week, the last couple of weeks. And so I want you to discuss the direct and indirect competitors. I also want you to make your first stab at describing the analysis chart that you completed. I don't have to see your chart. You can provide your competitive chart that as a reference or as an appendix to your paper. But I want you to, in paragraph form, describe to me your competitive advantages, disadvantages, SWOT analysis, if you will, for your business. Are there any questions? No? Does this make sense? Marcelo, I know you had questions. Did this answer your question?
It did. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Perfect. Again, I don't want to belabor it. I want us to spend most of today with you all, either working with your groups to get this going. so that you all can possibly ask questions for me either next week before class, in between class times. But I want to give you all ample time so that you can be comfortable with submitting your midterm on October 16th. I know things are going to get real busy. 1st of October, classes are going to start demanding papers, tests, like significant grades. Also, we are going to submit progress reports so that you can know your academic standings and things of that nature. So it's really important for you all to pace yourself and not rush during these next 2 or 3 weeks.
Professor Houston?
Yes.
Just one quick question. I know we're still all trying to, get together with everything. So if we're unable to get a hold of everyone in the group, or if everyone in our group isn't trying to like reach out to like get together, what is it that we can do? Do you have any suggestions about that? Any tips at all?
Yes. So please attempt to reach out to all members through Canvas messaging that has everyone assigned. If there's a member that's non-responsive,
Yes.
Please send me a Canvas message, your group, or one person from the group. No, take that back. I want an email from every active member of the group, included in the email, describe and stating which student is unresponsive. And what I will do is I will look into my records to see if they are engaged. I will reach out to them as well. And I will then follow up with an email for everyone in that group. And if they don't respond to that, then that individual's grade will be a 0 for not participating. It will not affect everyone else's grade.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I was looking at the chat. I think other people are having that problem too. But
okay. I don't even know where my chat box is. This is so odd, and I apologize for that. I will be able to see everyone's chat once I close this session.
It's okay. People, they're just saying in the chat, there's different groups that are having the same issue that I just talked about. But yeah, that was about it.
Send me an email, not just a Canvas message, but an email. If you can send me a Canvas message with everyone on there, that's fine. But if you send me an email, I know that'll give us a good track record.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And also, real quick, group 2, check the chat box. All right, thanks.
All right.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone's responsible for submitting their own assignment, regardless if we submit it twice, right? So it's not like one person submitting for that group.
No, actually, I want one person from each group to submit your midterm. Because if one person submits it, I can grade it, and all 5 people will get a grade.
Okay.
So everyone does not need to submit your midterm. Just have one person from your group submit. But I need to have everyone's name on the midterm so that I can give everyone credit who participated. Good question. Great question. I want to go over some things not to do on your midterm. I strongly suggest you to not submit a late submission because that will be a significant point deduction, and I believe the midterm is 20% of your grade. So it's a significant chunk. So please do not submit late submissions. Don't submit an incomplete assignment. I've given you my expectations of what I expect for
I'm sorry. You cut out. I heard late, and then I didn't hear the next. I'm sorry. I think I have a bad connection. Can you repeat that one more time?
Don't submit late submissions because there will be a significant point deduction. And 2, do not complete incomplete assignments. So if for your narrative you only submitted a half a page, I will deduct automatically 25 points out of 100 because that's 1 of 4 that's incomplete. And I'm not giving partial credit for If you, maybe you've done two, maybe you've done one page and I asked you to do 2 pages, I'm not giving you half credit. I'm just going to assume I'm gonna give you a 0 for that section. And there are 4 sections. So it's really important for you to complete every single assignment with the length that I have an expectation for, at least the minimum expectation. If you don't include members, your team members on your paper assignment, meaning you don't have their names on the paper, they will not get credit. So if they've worked since the beginning of September in this group, but their name is not on the cover sheet or any part of their paper, my assumption is that they were not active in the organizational process of the midterm. And like I said earlier, if you're not active, I'm going to give that person a 0. All right? And no poor paper formatting. The reason why I say that is because a lot of people submit midterms without proofreading or speaking, not having consistent a style of paper. So let's say 4 people are in a group where there were 4 fonts on a page. That's going to cause deductions in your paper. If there are misspellings, that's going to cause deductions. If there's if I catch improper grammar or punctuations, that's going to I will mark that off of your paper. So it's important that you have great formatting. There are plenty of tools that you can use. You can use, of course, formatting tools with Microsoft Word and other tech software like that. But UNT Dallas's Writing Center is still open. Please submit your paper maybe a week before to the Writing Center so that someone else outside of your team can read it. If you have someone reading that paper, then that will definitely give you a second set of eyes on grammar, things of that nature, style, that can help you with your submission. And it's a free resource afforded to all UNT Dallas students. Please feel free to use that. Again, the best way to use that is if you do not rush and you all are not typing in this paper October 15th or October 16th at 10 p.m. trying to submit the first draft to me before the deadline. Please, I want to stress this again. Do not rush in writing your paper. Are there any questions? Does this make sense? It's fairly clear cut.
Quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a certain format that you'd like single space, double space?
Jeanette, I can't hear you. Could you repeat that? Or speak into the microphone?
Is there a certain format you'd like single space, double spaced, or plain?
Yes, 12 font, double spaced, Times New Roman.
Okay, thank you.
12 font, double spaced, Times New Roman. Also, make sure everyone's name is on the paper. Please identify each section of the paper. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but if you can write narrative, then your narrative. And financials, then the financials. Then operations, then the operations. Then competition. If you clearly state each section, that helps me in reading your midterms. And note, I have two other sections of this. So the weekend of October 16th or so, I'll be reading a lot of papers, drinking a lot of wine. And so the easier it is for me to identify those sections, the better, the easier it is for me to grade. And once I get frustrated, I will probably not, if I don't see it easily, it's difficult for me to find a certain section. I may deduct points off of that if it's not clearly identified. Okay. Are there any other questions? That was a great question. Anything else? If not, y'all have a great night. And if you all want to spend time working with your groups, please do so. I will continue to work on my end. One, I'll be updating, answering emails. I'll be updating Canvas, and I will be as available as possible to answer any questions for you. Thank you all, and y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Oh, Professor Houston.
Yes.
Um,